It's so hot in here. You know, I would have thought that with fewer people going in and out of this studio that it would be much cooler during the summer for the times that I have to come in and film. Turns out I was wrong. And I don't like summer in general. Many people enjoy the heat. Me? Indoors, preferably with air conditioning. If you get too cold, you can always put on a sweater, but if you get too hot, there are limits to how much you can take off. And what better thing to do when cooling off indoors with the AC blasting and vegging in front of your preferred television or computer monitor than to watch some anime. And usually, we are spoiled for choice, but not this season. Right now, in the summer of 2020, the actual amount of anime being released is rather small. To compare, last summer in the year of 2019, we had 33 new shows with a full core lined up, 4 short series, and 17 shows continuing on from the previous season, not to mention films and OVAs that were also being released at the same time. Now that's a lot of anime. Now, jump ahead, and we are down to only 16 shows, almost half of which are sequels. But this is to be expected. I may have ranted last season about the disappointment that this brings, but at the end of the day, I would much rather prefer that production companies make the delays that they have to in order to keep their employees safe, because we've already lost many not too long ago. So I am determined to find a silver lining for this season. With luck, this will be the only low point in releases for 2020. I know that there hasn't been much of a feeling of hope associated with 2020, and historically I have never been overly optimistic about much of anything. So while it is a smaller crop of shows this season, we still do, in fact, have a season of shows to comb over and investigate as to what might be worth our time more than others. But here is Glass Reflections' pick for the anticipated anime of summer 2020. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. Once again, back to help continue to support the channel is Bleach Immortal Soul, the RPG adventure for your iOS and Android devices. Immortal Soul is a game officially licensed by the Bleach Animation Production Committee. It is one that allows you to revisit your favorite stories from the Bleach universe while engaging with a strategic RPG action combat system. Collect all of your favorite characters and use them to your advantage in a variety of different game modes, like the main story, PvP Battle Arena, and the all-new cross-server Kenpachi contest. Or don't, because there is a handy hands-off option for easier fights if you just want to relax or multitask. You do you. Being a gacha game, though, Immortal Soul is free to play, and the only cost involved is whatever you choose to spend on those sweet, sweet SSR pulls. You are going to roll on the gacha, aren't you? Come on. All the cool kids are doing it. Here, use this code for your first roll on the house. There's no harm in that, is there? Now, back to the summer season. Normally, I would want to lump sequels in all together and not include them in the usual list because, as I always say, if you've watched and enjoyed the first seasons, then you will probably like the sequels too. However, in this case, there's no point in lumping all the sequels together in a unit, since even with mentioning the sequels individually, this unfortunately will not be a long list. After a bunch of delays, the big sequels to come out this summer are the second season of ReZero, which comes 4 years after the release of Season 1 by White Fox back in 2016, and also the third season of SNAFU, 5 years since the lackluster ending from its second season way back in 2015. In both cases, these are shows that I have anxiously awaited the release of because they were both supposed to come out earlier this year. I ended up having to take the mindset of, well, I've waited this long, might as well wait a little bit longer. But it's not like that has made things any easier. I have been waiting for SNAFU for a long time, and as you'll recall from the last seasonal video I did, actually let's just pull that up. Holy freaking I was not expecting SNAFU to return after 5 years and had literally let that ship sail. But now, there's a season 3. I was very excited. Still am. Still hopeful that this season could be the answer to all my prayers, or it could continue to add to my pessimism. about late sequels in general. My usual worry about shows with multiple seasons come into play as well, especially in SNAFU's case. It's where I just hope that we get a satisfying conclusion in this season, even if it doesn't necessarily mean an end to the series. I just want a sense of finality that can make waiting for more, if there is going to be more, that much easier. I've said before that I have reasons to be cautious about SNAFU, but I am trying not to let them snuff out my hope. Because if this video was about anything, it is about hope. Also anime, of course, but mostly hope. And you know, that thing is very hard to have when you're watching ReZero. I don't know if I want to reclassify ReZero as maybe some kind of misery porn, because season 1 certainly felt like that at times. What made up for that in spades was always the amount of determination and, yes, hope that it had in fleeting moments that made all of it worth watching. Season 2 might not have a lot of that, so I'm not sure how much I'm personally going to be able to handle in large doses, but we'll have to see. And that's it for sequels. Because, like, Higurashi got bumped until later the year, so I'll spare you my gushing about that until whatever season it comes out in. And no, I did not finish watching Fire Force Season 1, so why would I personally care about a second season? If you want to go watch Fire Force, go nuts. But I personally did not care for it after a while. That is just me. Next up, you know how I usually say in these videos that there is a very good possibility that I am going to miss something, and that I won't end up talking about every good show? Well, now I can actually showcase one of the missed shows from last season, because after 2-ish episodes, it got delayed until this season. Millionaire Detective Balance Unlimited. It's an anime that is supposed to be restarting, at least according to its production company, but whether or not Funimation is actually going to be continuing to air it, I'm not entirely sure, because their website is a mess, and I will take the time to bash it publicly every chance I get, at least until they fix it. Seriously, Funimation, love you, love your work, but fix your website, okay? Please? For me. Just personal favor, me to you, please? Okay, thanks. In Balance Unlimited, you have Daisuke, a man with an actual limitless bank account, becoming a detective and getting assigned to the local modern crime prevention headquarters, where he is paired up with the young Haru, a former ace detective, demoted for reasons so far unclear, but who is wholly unprepared to be working with a guy who can literally do whatever he wants because money. This guy who was chosen to become a detective for kicks, maybe? I'm curious to find out. It has been quite entertaining so far, which means I'm very glad to see that the production will be continuing this season and won't be canceled outright. And hopefully that continues to be the case. And then we have Studio Mappa coming in with the anime The God of High School. I don't know what it is lately with anime from adaptations of things that Webtoons has on offer, but if they keep looking like this and end up with the same level of adrenaline as Tower of God from last season, then sign me the hell up, please. The setup for God of High School seems to be fairly simple. Fight all the time. Always. Become the strongest. Become the God of High School. Probably. I'm not expecting massive revelations or massive events that shake our world or preconceptions about life, the universe, and everything. That doesn't seem to be this kind of show. All that I expect out of the God of High School is some damn fine animation and heart-pumping action to keep us energized for the weeks ahead. And I'm pretty sure it's gonna give us exactly that. So, hopefully, 10 out of 10. Now, nearing the end of the list is Deca-Dence. I think it's called that, Deca-Dence, and not like Deca-Dence or something. It's spelled dense, so we're gonna go with dense. What do I know about Deca-Dence? Virtually nothing. It's an original animation with an original story that we can't read beforehand. Not that I ever do, but it's worth mentioning because these are the kinds of shows that I get really excited for. Why? Well, because if for no other reason, then I don't get to have people on Twitter spoiling the plot for me, or by constantly whining about how the manga did it better. They do that a lot. What I do know is that the script is being written by Hiroshi Seko, who handled the script writing for Mob Psycho and a large chunk of Attack on Titan. So I'm excited to see what he comes up with. So what else do we know about the show? It has a giant fortress. That fortress moves, but I think I have just listed out everything we publicly know about the series, barring just, continuing to list the cast and crew. Which I suppose I could do, but why bother? The trailer looks interesting, and if that doesn't grab you, combined with the knowledge that some of Mob Psycho's creative team are on board, then honestly, I don't know what will. The last show that I want to talk about has the potential to be delayed. I did my best to look into this beforehand, and if something changes between the time that I filmed this video and the release of this video, I will put something on the screen here. But last up is Japan Sinks. It used to be that when well-known directors like Masaki Yuasa produced a series or film, it was just kind of a one-and-done type of thing before they faded back into the shadows for a few years as they worked on their next project. However, Yuasa has this habit of working on multiple projects at once, what with having both Night is Short, Walk On Girl, and Lou Over the Wall, both being films he directed in 2017, and now, just a few months after his last series, the brilliant Ezoken, he immediately gives us Japan Sinks. The story of the series seems pretty self-explanatory. An earthquake has wrecked Japan and the city of Tokyo begins to sink. Our story follows the members of the Muto family who have to attempt to escape from the city. Now, again, I am not entirely sure how personally I am going to be enjoying a series about disaster and destruction in 2020, but as this video is trying to focus on hope, Yuasa has always had an uplifting spirit attached to his works. This could be a first, of course. He might be trying something new, and we will have to see what that turns into. I'm still looking forward to it regardless, because he is on a short list of people who have not yet made something that I have not enjoyed. I really hope he stays on that list, because that list is pretty small. As we move into the end of the video, please keep your hopes up and your spirits high. The amount of anime that we have been getting this season may be smaller than what we are used to, but I have a hunch that the quality of what we will get will not disappoint. And now we have reached the end of the video. I will be very honest, now that we have completely reached the point where I am off script, I actually thought this season was going to be a lot worse. I'm pretty sure I did mention that. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that at the top of the video, but I did want to, reiterate that. I thought we were gonna have, nothing. I thought we were gonna have 3 or 4 shows, and then that was going to be it, and they were all gonna be sequels. And then I probably would just be like, let's take the season off and see what happens. But no, thankfully there is a decent amount of shows here that are still coming out. Less than normal, yes, but hopefully the quality makes up for the quantity. That is my hope, and we will just have to see. But before I let you go, we need to do some special thanks. A very special thank you to our sponsor for this video, Oasis Games, and their game, Bleach Immortal Soul. There will be a link in the description, patreon.me/glassreflectionbleach. All one word written here, but also clickable down in the description. And using that will allow you to check out their game on your mobile device of choice. There will also be that code I mentioned earlier next to the download links for a free multi-summon in the game, which is always helpful to just hit the ground running, so grab that if you can. And just once again, thank you very much to Oasis Games for supporting the channel, but you know who else supports this channel wholeheartedly, of which I am so very thankful, our wonderful patrons. Without you, patrons, I would not be able to do what I do, and for that I am eternally, eternally grateful, and I don't think I could ever thank you guys enough, in all honesty. All of these wonderful patrons here, who editing me is going to hate trying to make sure that I am lining this up properly, also because my hand keeps moving like this. Oh, that's probably hell for me in the future. All of these patrons here, thank you very much for your patronage. It is very much appreciated. And of course, a very special thanks to great patrons like Hector Montemayor, Richard Neal Bradley, Rune Jacobson, Ryfan Bonaparte, Sid Yamako, and Calhoun Boy, because you guys are especially awesome, and I thank you. And until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and others, watch more anime. I know there's only so much of it this season, but watch more anime, and stay frosty.